Hello, and welcome to my recap of the first 6 months of 2020. As all of us know, 2020 has been quite a year to say the least. I think most people would feel that it has been longer than almost 6 months, but I really don't. It has been a year of change for me, even pre pandemic. I had made the decision to retire from corporate America last year. And so my retirement date was March 1st, but I was lucky enough to be able to leave January 31st because I had enough vacation and personal days built up. So my last few months of work, uh, as soon as I had announced that I was retiring, was filled with mentoring and teaching and training my replacement and also other people to do my job. I was fortunate enough to have a say in my replacement, which was fabulous, I thought. Um, and it was very gratifying. So January went by probably fast slash slow. Uh, and on January 31st, I had a fabulous party. And after over 35 years, I was able to walk out of the building. Uh, Personally, it was a bittersweet. You don't stay anywhere for that long of a time and not have mixed feelings. But I was excited about starting my own business to pursue what I feel are my passions in business analysis. I really loved my job. I really loved a lot of the people. And I probably left when my career was really at a high, but it was time. So, unfortunately, our dog Baxter, who was almost 14, um, I had to take him to be put to sleep on February 1st. He was pretty sick, and so I kind of had visions of him being my business mascot. And knowing that I was going to mainly work from home, I was really excited about that. But unfortunately, that was not meant to be. So I had to take him the next day to be put to sleep. And that was very tough. Um, we have had to do that twice now. And so I don't know. We're not going to get animals for a while. It hurts too much. So after that, I spent February trying to clean a lot of my home office out since I had not been very good about keeping that up when I was so busy with other things over the years. And then organizing different things for my business and writing presentations and abstracts and applying to conferences. And I was going to start teaching for a training company. And so my first series was going to start on March 17th. So I had kind of a bit of a date right away, which was good, kept me focused. And that was great. Um, I can stay in the home and be alone for several hours and it doesn't bother me. So really the pandemic has not been that big of a thing for me. I also like being out among the people. I am still volunteering for IIBA. I am their global chapter council chair, and I manage the group that oversees all of the chapters. And there are about 115 of them, give or take. And it's very gratifying, very fun, and I've become very close to a lot of the people that I've met. That has been one of the things about being involved in IIBA that kind of took me by surprise. I did not realize that I would meet so many great people. So that has been fabulous. I was scheduled to speak at several conferences this spring, and so as March came upon us, I could see where maybe some of my plans were going to change. And they did. So March came upon us, and March 17th, I got home in the morning from working out, and I didn't realize that the next day my gym would close. That was tough because that's where all of my days started. Since it was still cool out, I started to exercise by walking through the neighborhoods, but that kind of soon didn't work out as it got warmer, and some of our sidewalks have really deteriorated, but my back really started to hurt. So I was forced to ride our very old treadmill. So that was not a good thing. The pandemic hit, and some of my friends dealt with it in a good way, and others just couldn't handle it. My husband actually moved home to work. He was in the process of doing that anyway, and so I really thought that things were going to be ultra quiet when I moved home, retired, and worked from home permanently, but not to be once again. So I moved on and helped him get his office set up, which was a bit of a challenge because all of his equipment that he brought home from work are wired, and that is so much different than what I have. So we got that resolved, and then I set on a path of cleaning out my home even more. And that kind of had a many reason thing, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But I started to hear that the conferences that I was signed up to speak at in person weren't going to happen this spring. And none of them were going to go virtual. Now, one of them is going to happen in the fall, and they have announced that they are virtual. The rest are just moving forward to 2021. I am very grateful that two of them that I will get to speak at in 2021, so that's exciting. The other one is going to have a new speaker submission session, so that's fine too. So I continued to teach virtually, which was one of my plans anyway, and that series went very well. That ran for 6 sessions every 2 weeks on a Tuesday, and it went very well, and I'm going to repeat it in the fall. So if any of you BAs out there are interested in a session of virtual online coaching in a small group atmosphere, it will probably be 4 to 8 people, so you can get a lot of my attention if you desire. And it's called the Human Aspect of the BA Toolkit, and I present it through Your Clear Next Step, which is a training company right outside of Des Moines, Iowa. So look for information on that in the late summer to early fall. I'm really excited about that, and I'm also probably going to be doing some other things with that company. At the moment, I have plans to speak a few places in the fall, which I will talk about in a minute. But at the beginning of March, we had plans to get our basement partially refinished. And those went off as planned. I had a very great experience with a company I had never used before. And in fact, when we had some other things that some of them kind of related to the basement renovation and some did not, they came back and did those for me. So that was great. I was glad that they did not get scared of the virus or anything, and actually were considered essential services in our state. Our state has been pretty good, I would say, with the virus. Initially, people, I don't want to wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. And of course, unfortunately, with some of the events outside of our state, we did have some protests and things, and probably got near what I would consider a riot atmosphere a few times. I don't live anywhere near any of the places where this happened, thankfully, but it's kind of scary when growing up in the 60s, we did have a lot of riots in the city. They were focused mainly in one location of our city, but still that brought back some bad memories that I did not want to relive at all. We also then decided that it was time to replace all the carpeting in the house. And so we went and did some shopping in early June, and we have selected the carpet and ordered the carpet, but our offices really need painting. One of the offices, mine, has not been painted since we built the house over 22 years ago. So the thing is, we really needed to do some clean out, and the clean out's going to take longer than just between now and when we get the carpet laid. But we started and made good progress. If you notice with my camera, the walls behind me are pretty much bare, and that's because there is nothing left on the wall. And so I've been going through boxes and shredding and tossing, and it's been really good. I got rid of 12 years of tax records, a bunch of junk I should have gotten rid of years ago, some of it probably decades ago, but we have more to go through. And so the interesting thing about getting the carpet laid is we are carpeting all 3 of our bedrooms, which 2 of them are where our offices are, and the great room, hallway, and basement, which that also includes carpeting 5 closets. So basically, you almost have to take everything out of each of all of those rooms. And in our offices, since we're going to have them painted, everything off the walls. Luckily, our kitchen and dining room do have wood flooring, so we do have some places to put some of the things. We can put some of the things in the garage, but we're probably going to have to rent a pod. I've been diving into that affair. The scheduling is tricky. With my husband being all wired, he can't just grab his laptop and work from anywhere in the house like I can. And he's also tied to a phone system. So it's a little trickier with him. But we think we have it figured out how we're going to get the rooms painted. We're going to move ahead with those fairly early in July because we don't know exactly the timing of when the carpet will arrive. But we do know all 4 colors have to be here. So hopefully 1 or 2 of them will get delayed a little, which gives us more time to clean out things before we have that affair. They are saying they're going to relay it all in one. They're going to tear it up and lay down the new pad and carpeting all in one day. I'm not sure that I quite believe that, but because we got a special discount, we have to get it done all at once. We can't have them come back multiple times. So I'm kind of excited about that. Be more excited when it all gets done. And we've had to put some things in the basement, but I've labeled everything very good so that it won't be too bad once we get done with everything. I didn't want to just junk the basement out, but there's more down there than I want. So finally, we'll be able to put the basement back together also. We refinished a bar that we had for almost 30 years and hadn't gotten that done. So our basement is going to look really cool once we get everything else done. So that'll be exciting. And that will be enough home renovations for this year. But starting a business during a pandemic, some of my friends joke that me retiring and starting my business really caused the pandemic. I don't think I did, but it was worth a good joke. Really, starting the business during the pandemic has really been a blessing in a way. It's probably a good time because I really didn't have any sort of a normal or a set schedule, and really a lot of my schedule is determined by if I need to talk with any clients, if I have any IIBA calls, or if I am teaching anything as to when I have to work. I really don't have to work 8 to 5, and I don't have to work 8 hours a day. So that's kind of nice after many years of working in corporate America. I also had worked from home from time to time for the last 11 years, at least 1 day a week. So I'm not a total stranger to working from home, but this is a little different. And, I am retired. I suppose officially semi-retired because I am still working, but I'm working at the parts of business analysis that I love. I'm volunteering for IIBA. I am teaching virtually, and I am going to sooner or later speak at conferences. I have spoken at some chapter events, which has been fun virtually. Excuse me. But I will be speaking at least 3 or 4 conferences that I know of in the fall, and maybe a couple more. I'm not sure that they are all public, but they're on their websites, so I feel that I can mention them, and I will be adding them to my website events page here shortly. I need to get better about recording videos, writing blogs, and updating my website. Those are there's some things that you have to do with marketing and different things that are really not my love in life, but you really have to do them. But I will be speaking at the PMBA conference that will be held in Boston and in Vancouver. That's Vancouver, Canada. And I will be speaking twice at each of those conferences. One of them is in early October and the other is in early November. I am also speaking at BBC, which is Building Business Capabilities Conference. That is being held in Las Vegas, Nevada this year. Each of these conferences has not made a final decision about whether they will be virtual or in person. But it sounds like they really are all going to try to be in person. So we'll see. BBC might be part virtual, part in person, but if it's in person, I will go. I don't have a problem with that. So we will see what happens. Other than that, I do have a couple other things that I am working on, but I haven't quite had a chance to. I know that they haven't made all their selections, so we will see. I'll need to start preparing presentations to submit for next year because pretty soon everybody will be talking about the spring. The one of the key highlights for me personally with everyone having to do virtual events was with my involvement in IIBA. I have gotten to know and make friends with a lot of people around the world that I never would have been exposed to on a regular basis had it not been for all of us going virtual. My Fridays begin with a call with some people in Brussels, and it's fabulous. There's people from different countries that attend, and that has been so much fun. Now, for Brussels, it's lunchtime. For a core group of about 3 or 4 of us who join, it's very early in the morning, but that's cool. I got up way early to go to work when I worked at Mutual, so that's not a big deal at all. But one weekend we went to Brussels for breakfast. We went to Hawaii for happy hour. Now, it was happy hour in Hawaii, but it was like 10 o'clock at night for me. And then on Sunday afternoon, we went to Egypt for a webinar. Now, that is so cool. I would have never been able to do all that in 48 hours or less. I didn't even have to leave this chair. That's what's really cool. So I've really been trying to make the best of a lot of things. Those of you who know me, you know that I am the eternal optimist and always positive. Something bad, something good always comes out of something bad. Now, sometimes you have to wait a bit to relish and reap that something good, but sometimes it's immediate. And so with my business, I've had to think outside the box, which any good business analyst should do. And I have thought of different ways to do things, and I need to do more videos, tried to do more things online, and so that's exciting. And I would also do consulting for any company that wanted me to teach, particularly business analysis. I feel that I am a real expert in the soft skills, leadership, dealing with people. That's the biggest thing. There are many business analysts that are very good at what they do, but they get more impressed and caught up on the models they can build and the Visios they can create. And those are all good and well. Those are things that I have done and have done very well. But if you don't know how to deal with people as a business analyst, you are not going to be successful. So I'm going to be sharing a series of videos. I only have one out there now, and I need to get going. And I don't know if it's going to be 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 videos, but they're just little videos, not like this one, where I will go through the different things that I feel are important. And it involves some of the information from my 6-part series on the human aspect of the BA toolkit. And that's very important because 85% of what a business analyst does involves dealing with people. There is no business analyst out there at all who either did business analysis or is doing it now that has went through a project without talking to someone. So that is so important. Hardcore skills are important. Knowing how to learn the tools are important. Domain knowledge, important. But the people, that's where it's all about. I've also had the pleasure of doing 2 podcasts. One I actually recorded last October with Seneca Waugh. It's called Even Better, and I talk about 5 reasons why you should volunteer for a professional association. And as you can probably guess, I talked about IIBA. I also did a podcast recently for Tracy Edwards, and her podcast is called Traceability, which is a cute play on words. And we talked about business analysis and how I became a business analyst and stuff. And you can imagine if you're involved in projects or business analysis that the 2 of us probably could have talked forever. And at the time I recorded my podcast, I did notice mine was the longest, but both of those are on Spotify, Apple Podcast. If you want to listen to them, please, I'd appreciate it. So with Tracy and Seneca. And I think if you're in projects or business analysis, you could learn something. I'm going to try to be more active with my YouTube video. I've been doing a ton of networking on LinkedIn. That's really been my focus. If you want to laugh a lot, friend me on Facebook. I have kept my friends smiling and laughing, sometimes probably crying, for good reasons, hopefully, during the pandemic especially. Not making fun of the pandemic, but sometimes if you have lemons, you have to make lemonade. And I kind of like lemonade. I don't know about you, but I feel that you really need to make the best of it. And I thought that my husband would struggle more with the pandemic and being inside than he has. But I know even now he's getting out a little more, even more than I am. I'm not necessarily scared or anything, but I really don't have any reason to be out. So I would like to get back to traveling. There's a lot of my business analysis friends that I would love to see. I normally see a few of them, particularly in the spring and fall when it's prime conference development day season. So I'm excited. In the interim, I am going to be speaking a couple of for a couple of IIBA things in August. One of them is on August 18th. I will be speaking virtually on leadership to the South Florida IIBA chapter. And there's something else I'm going to be doing, but it hasn't exactly been published yet, maybe in about a week or so. It'll be on my website as soon as I know it. And I think that's it. I was on IIBA's leadership webinar series once again. So if you're an IIBA member, we're down to the last module, and then all 5 of us will do a virtual panel. But please consider tuning in for the 2 that are left in July, and the other 4 are on the IIBA website for you to listen to, even if you couldn't attend them. And the book we did, The 21 Irrefutable Laws, written by John Maxwell, is available in the IIBA library. So you can actually read the book yourself and refer to the different references and questions and development ideas that we talked about. It's been a great series so far, and the last 2 sessions will not disappoint, that's for sure. That has been fun. So far, I've been on all 5 webinar teams, which has been very gratifying and has helped for me to hone my speaker skills. As I look back on my decision last summer, hey, maybe I could do this. I am grateful that I did. I don't regret a single minute of doing that at all. It's very exciting. I'm very happy and energized. The parts that when I think back, I may have done a little differently would be to maybe get into some of the marketing aspects and figure out that a little more, and some of the business type details. I had built my website and purchased different things that I needed back in before I even left work. But there were some things that as I got into it, I wished I would have maybe planned it just a little more. I didn't quite go off with all the details that maybe I should have. It wasn't bad. I mean, a business analyst never does anything without planning, but I'm a little more off the cuff at times. And so I probably should have figured out certain aspects before I kind of went and did it in reverse. And I think it's taking a little more of my time that I could be a little more productive with creating content and doing things that are my passion. But I'm getting through that, and I'm excited that that I will have that all done here shortly, and then see where the business takes me. I don't know that I want it to be some huge metropolis. I really want to enjoy life. Funny thing is, I wanted to really have time to go spend with some of my retired friends, take an afternoon off, or even just take a day off if I didn't have anyone I had to talk to or anything I needed to do specifically. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to get to see my friends, talk to them, kept in touch. I'm very big on that. That's one of my huge things. I have faults like everybody else. No one is perfect. But the one thing I am is the ultimate friend. And anyone who knows me very well would confirm that. I'm stating facts, not being arrogant. And so I'll be glad when I can get out and enjoy all of them, because the one thing you don't get back in life is time. Once you have spent your time, if you've wasted it, it's gone. You need to live every minute as if it's your last minute. And I don't say that to be gloom and doom and dread, but life is not a dress rehearsal, people. You need to utilize it. And it's so much easier to be happy, optimistic, enjoy life, and take a risk on yourself. I highly recommend it. Now, I'm a little more fortunate than some people because I did work for a company that has an actual pension plan. I also worked for a company that had a 401k plan. So once a month, I get that money from the 401k. So that's the good thing, because otherwise, having all of your trips canceled and different things like that, it's nice to have tax write-offs, but I would be in a huge amount of trouble. But take a risk. If you've been dreaming of what you want to do, pursue your passions. Because if you are pursuing your passions, then you will never work a day in your life. You have to love what you do. You spend too much time doing it. I don't even really track the hours because I know I spend too much time. But it's because it's my passion, and the people in it are just fabulous. Some of these people have become some of my closer friends of my entire life. So take a risk. If you're going to take a risk on anything in this world, take a risk on yourself. If you can retire early and you can start a business pursuing your passions that would give you happiness and maybe, if you need to, some income, do it. No one's going to live forever, and we don't know what our length of time is with that either. So pursue happiness. Be happy, be positive, be optimistic, and try not to get caught up in all the gloom and doom that's going on in this world right now. There's always been gloom and doom of different kinds, and it's different sorts of history have happened. And the good news is we've always bounced back, and we will this time. But it's important that you stay healthy, stay safe, and wear those masks. I don't like a mask. It makes me claustrophobic and fogs up my glasses. Now, I've heard that if you wash your glasses in with shaving cream, that they won't fog up. I haven't had a chance to try it, but I'll try anything. But sometimes I go into a store, and even if I'm just there for a few minutes and it's a small store, I'm about the only person wearing a mask, maybe the employees of the store. It makes me crazy. If wearing a mask is going to get me back on the road faster, let's do it. Protect yourself and protect others. And if you are immune compromised, stay home. You can go out for a drive or something. That you can sit in your yard. I always professed when I retired that I would watch a sunset or a sunrise, and I haven't watched either one. That's embarrassing. That is just embarrassing. I'm going to have to do that. That is so important to do. Right now, it's so hot here in Nebraska in the summer that sitting outside is not my thing, but we'll see. I will do it one of these days. That I do have to do. And it'll be sooner rather than later, because you need to pursue life. It's only one time, and enjoy the ride. That is the best advice that I can give you. Everyone thinks I'm so funny. Well, I have faced a couple of serious illnesses in my life. And when I have something that does kind of upset me a bit, I sit and I think, and I'm like, okay, is this better or worse than X? Well, I'll tell you what, I've never found anything that was worse than X. So that's kind of my benchmark of when I get upset about something. I try to stay calm. When you work in business analysis with projects, it's always like a roller coaster, and you don't want to ride it. Just stay calm, stay steady. So until next time, which I promise not to talk this long the next time on anything, have a good one. Bye.